few days ago I had like a depressive episode, and it was just a lot. You get what I'm saying? Like I was really, really sad. It just about everything. And if I'm not gonna lie to you, I was comparing myself to people, and I'm the number one person who always tells people not to compare themselves. But yeah, I just had my moment. And honestly, throughout this process, I literally lost hope because I was just like, what's the point? I mean, what's the point of trying for something if it's not going to, like I've been trying, I've been having expectations, but um something happened where like I think I watched a video or something just pushed me to like just start thinking positively. And if I'm being honest, I've been really, really good with my mental diet for the past 1 or 2 years, especially because I'm someone who I'm careful with the things I listen to. I'm careful with the things I feed myself mentally. Because I just believe that like, your subconscious is always listening. And if you're not careful, if you start accepting what people are saying about you negatively, you start basically, I mean, yeah, you start accepting it. If you start listening to what people are saying about you constantly, you start accepting it, you start believing it, even though you don't want to. And so I try my best to think positively, but I'm not gonna lie to you, a few days ago it was just so hard for me because I've been like looking for jobs and stuff, a new job. And like I'm not gonna lie to you, like the UK job market right now is just not, the best. And, funny enough, like, I don't know, I'm just not happy in the place I'm also living in with my parents. This is between me and you. Like, I just I just don't fuck with them like that. You get what I'm saying? And also when you get to a certain age, you just can't accept certain disrespect, because when you live in an African household, they're literally like, oh yeah, we can do whatever we want, we can say whatever we want to you, and they just expect you to just take that in and like just accept them to literally speak down on you. And it gets to a certain age where you're just like, sorry, this can't run anymore. I have to also go live my life for myself. And so just basically trying to move out. So the fact that I'm trying to move out, and then you're looking for the jobs and then you're not finding those jobs, it was just a bit depressing. But the reason why I'm talking about this is because I was going to talk about something else this week, but I was just like, you know what, someone might need this, someone might also need to like, maybe someone might be going through things, they might be going through a lot as well mentally. And I just want to come here to tell you that like sometimes you just need to shift your perception. Is it perception or perspective? You get the point I'm trying to make. But you just need to change that, because I realized that just from me thinking positively, like it just felt like I'm in a new world now, because now I feel so princessy. I'm just like, yeah, things are going to work out. And it just feels like now I'm in that vibration, and it feels like I'm now attracting that positive energy. And it does make sense, because when you're in that negative thought process and all you can think of is just negativity, it does feel like you've surrounded yourself with you're like in that vibration of negativity. So of course you're going to be receiving negative transmission. I don't know if that makes sense, but you're receiving negative thoughts as well, because you are literally in that space. But it's like when you rise high, or when you start to think a bit positive, you don't have to be positive all the time, but you get what I'm saying, like just don't entertain negative thoughts. And that's one thing I've realized, because I'm telling you, this is me not even coming here to give advice for the sake of advice. This is me coming to tell someone who might be going through a lot as well, because I did experience the difference. Like literally, like immediately I started thinking positively, I just feel so hopeful again. Like I feel renewed, and I just feel like, okay, you know what, things can get better. Like, I've not seen the physical changes yet, but I think, I feel the difference within me. Like I feel much happier. Like I just feel like, okay, I genuinely believe now that things will work out. And sometimes that's all it takes for you to just keep pushing, because at the end of the day, like, what really is the point of thinking negative thoughts? Like, what's the point of being in that negative space? Because you're not going to get anything from it. But if you're thinking positively, there's a higher chance of things working out for you. Because I'm telling you, yeah, if you've noticed that when you're like confused and you're looking for something, you don't find it. But when you literally come back maybe a few hours later, you just find that thing like staring at you. And it's just, and the reason for that is because your brain is like your brain is unable to think or see the solution right in front of you when you're confused, when you're angry, when you're just sad, because that's all you can think of is just thinking of you being sad, of you being a victim. And you don't want to be a victim at the end of the day. Like, you don't want to make yourself a victim. Of course, there are times when life is annoying and like life, it might not be giving you what you want, but you're not a victim to life. And you have to remember that life is working for you and not against you. And that's one thing you also have to remember, because it's like, what is life going to get from like making life worse for you? I don't know. You just have to have that positive mindset. But the point I'm trying to make is that you have to basically do your best to rise up and stand up for yourself. Basically, like, of course, even though I'm not saying that there's anyone like attacking, but I'm trying to say, like, you have to stand up for yourself in terms of your thoughts. You cannot entertain thoughts that are just not helping you, or that won't help you get where you get to where you need to get to. Because like, but I won't say that, of course, be thinking positively to every single time. But what I'm trying to say is that don't entertain those negative thoughts. Try your best to expect the best. Did you see what I did there? But yeah, just expect the best, because I mean, you can't you can't get anything bad from expecting the best. I don't know how to be like, you're not losing anything from expecting the best, but you are losing something by expecting the worst. And I know, but like, that's the truth, because when you're expecting the worst, you will get the worst. Literally, you will. Like, but if you expect the best and do your best, and the thing about the mind is that you have to train the mind. That's one thing I've realized about your mind. Like, your mind is so easily like, I don't know how to put it. If you're not careful, more everything. If more negative thoughts come to your mind easily just accepts it, and you have to actively choose to like basically not accept that thought, or just basically just tell yourself that it's irrelevant, it's nothing important, and it won't affect you. But if you're not careful with your mind, if you don't train your mind will accept the things you don't want it to accept, which is why you do have to like be careful. Of course, don't micromanage yourself, but just be aware and just be careful not to accept everything your mind is throwing at you, because I'm not gonna lie to you, your mind 90% of the time is always wrong. I'll say your intuition is what you should trust, and there's difference between intuition and your fears and your mind. I feel like your intuition is just something you can't really explain. It's like a gut feeling. It's like, I don't know. It's so hard to explain what intuition is, because I think maybe it's in a spiritual way, because when it's your mind is overthinking. It's just fear based sometimes. But when it's intuition, it's just something you can't shake off. It's like it's like maybe something telling you that, oh, check your email today, and you're just like I don't know, but you keep coming back to it, and it's just like something in you, like it's just telling you to do that. But the point I'm trying to make is that like your mind can lie to you, and you have to be careful not to fall into that lie. And believe every single thing your mind is telling you, because I'm not gonna lie to you, if you keep doing that, you will never get to where you're going to. Like, you'll never achieve your goals, because I mean, you'll become so what's it called, manipulated easily by negative thoughts, and you have to be more powerful than your thoughts. And that's the honest truth. You have to train yourself to be more powerful. Um, because I was speaking to my cousin the other day, and I was just telling her that like sometimes as well, like you can't let every single situation to control how your day is going to go. And that's the honest truth. Like, if something bad happens now and you just that's it, the day is over, then of course you've just ruined that day for yourself, because you can't allow one single thing that happened in the morning to ruin the rest of the day when you have like 12 hours left of the day. Like, it just doesn't make sense. It means that you're not in control of your emotions, you're not in control of yourself, and that means that you're a slave to anything that happens around you. You have to be stronger than that. You have to have a stronger mindset. And I know it's easier said than done, but and I think that's why I'm saying that your mind is something you have to train. It's a continuous thing, like it's a continuous process where you have to continuously like just tell yourself good things. You have to expect the best. You have to train you have to train your mind to expect the best, because on a normal day, let's just say you're in a competition, your brain is saying that like, oh, what if we lose this competition? What if we don't get in? What if we don't get this job? That's what your brain is thinking. Your brain is scared. Your mind is scared. If I should say, your mind is scared. But it's like you have to like steer the wheel and be like, you know what? What if it does work out? What if I succeed? And that's the thing about you having to like, you know, have that courage and the strength to take put the power in your hands and not allowing just negative thoughts to drive everything. You can't listen to, because they're just words. And the whole point is you don't have to accept everything that gets thrown at you. And I think that's why I always say with just information, when people tell you this is what happened, you can't just accept that. You have to go do your research. It's not about having trust issues. Which is not that's not what I'm talking about. Like, I'm talking about just the information that's been thrown at you from everywhere, and people want you to believe it. It's not everything that you have to believe. Like, there are times when you can just like also do your research and just do a bit of research before you jump into conclusion and just accept everything. But the point I'm trying to make is that, like, I'm just for this week, I'm just here to tell people that it does get better. And sometimes it takes you to get up and believe in yourself and expect that it will get better, rather than just you just saying them like, oh, it won't work out. What's the point in that? What are you going to gain in that? What's the result of you saying down and thinking it's not going to work out? The result is that it won't work out if you keep thinking it won't work out. And that's the truth. But if you do your best to at least do your part, and then leave the rest. If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But you will know that you did your best, you expected the best, you put in the actions, and then you made it work. And at least you did your best, and you know and that's all you can do, to be honest. And I think sometimes we also have to understand that, like, it's okay that when you've done your best, like, to relax. I think sometimes, when you want to achieve a goal, you feel like you need to overdo, you need to stress yourself, you need to drag yourself through the mud. And I think this is like an African mentality as well, where they feel like you need to struggle. I know this is another point, but like, I'm just bringing that because they have this people, not even African mentality. I think a lot of people have this belief that you have to struggle and you have to go through hell to achieve what you need to achieve. Don't get me wrong, sometimes, life happens and you have to put in effort and you have to do. That's not what I'm saying, but like, you also can't feel like you need to like make your life a living hell to achieve something. If you feel like you've done what you can do, then you've done what you can do. There are people, one thing I've realized, that there are people who don't even do half of what you've done and they get the same result. So you have to remember that, like, do what you can do. Of course, do your best, but don't stretch yourself thin to the extent that, like, even by the time you've achieved the goal, like, you're literally like, you're not even in the best place to receive it, or like you're not. The picture in my head is funny, but there's no point talking about it, because I was just gonna be like, you're out here stretching yourself thin, and by the time the result comes, you're nothing, because I mean, you've literally exhausted yourself. So it's like, there isn't any point of you constantly putting yourself through the ringer just because you want to achieve a goal. That goal, you achieve it. And I'm telling you, some people don't even put in as much effort and they achieve it. And I think sometimes is that's why people always say work smart, not hard. There are things that requires a lot of effort. I'm not going to lie to you. There are things that requires consistency rather than constant effort. You get what I'm saying? I don't know, because the things that, when I mean effort, there are things where like you need to push really hard, and there are things that where you just need to show up consistently over time for you to achieve it. So it's like you have to work smart when it comes to certain things, and just don't stretch yourself. Do the best you can do and leave the rest. And I feel like a lot of times as well, what makes people burn out quickly is, after you've worked really, really hard on something, you've done, like, you've literally stretched yourself thin, and you don't get that thing. It's so painful because you're thinking, oh my God, I've done so much, I've been through it. Like, I invested so much time, so much energy, I got up from it. And that itself is what makes it painful that you didn't get it. You get what I'm saying? And you get up from it. Of course, like I said, don't quote me wrong. Like I said, put your best foot forward when you're doing something, when you're trying to, but I'm saying once you've done that, let go, like, detach and just let things work itself out. If you need to do extra, just a little bit of extra, one, two, that's fine. But what I'm saying is that don't stretch yourself thin, all because you're trying to achieve a goal. It's like doing all the things you can do when something is already yours anyways, or maybe just something else is for you. You guys, it's like, just be careful and don't stress yourself out. Life is something we all don't understand, and we're just trying our best. In conclusion, like, we don't know what will happen tomorrow, so the best thing you can do is do what you can do today, and make sure that tomorrow you don't regret yesterday. You get what I'm saying? So every single day, just take one foot in front of the other. Whenever you're like depressed and stuff, just that belief that anything can change, anything can happen. Because I'm telling you, life is so funny. The way your life can change in the blink of an eye is crazy. Literally, it's crazy. You would think that things have been going wrong for years, and then one day something happens, and that's it. Like you get like this big opportunity, or someone wants to help you out, or you just something just happens that changes everything, and you're just like, whoa, like how did that happen? So what I'm trying to say is that like be patient with yourself. Okay, give yourself grace because a lot of times people give other people grace and they don't give themselves grace. And it's just like you're the one who needs it the most, especially with the way life is in general. You need the grace and you need to be patient with yourself. Love yourself, because when you love yourself as well, you're able to give yourself that grace. A lot of times people, when they love other people, they're like patient with them. They're like, oh, I understand you, so why don't you give that um same thing to yourself and understand yourself, see where you're coming from, see your efforts, see your patience, and try to expect the best that it will happen for you. If it happens for other people, then it will definitely happen for you too. And one thing I've realized is that the universe, I always say this, the universe is not wicked. Like the universe will always come true. I don't know how long. That's one thing that pisses me off. But I don't know how long it's going to take, but it will work out. And that's one thing you have to hold on to, that it will work out. It has no choice to work out. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, that's my belief. There is no other choice, there's no other option but for it to work out. If it doesn't work out, I don't know. But yeah, like so you just have to have that belief that it has to work out. You might not know how, and you might not know when it's going to work out or when it's going to happen, but you just have to believe that it will happen, and it definitely will, because I'm someone who believes that like your belief does shape your reality, and the way you think about yourself, the way you think, just your, yeah, like just your intentions do create your reality. And that's what you have to believe, that whenever you're really sad and you're depressed, just remember that like you don't know what will happen tomorrow. You might get good news tomorrow, something great might happen tomorrow. You just never know. So you just have to like have that curiosity about life to also keep going, and to believe that it doesn't end until you say so, basically. But I think I'm going to leave it as that. I just don't want to drag it on because, yeah, I think you guys get my point. But just keep going, don't give up. We're all going through it. Everyone has their own things that they're going through. So don't think that, oh, everyone's life is perfect and I'm behind. You're not behind, because this is your journey. This is your race. You're not competing with anyone. This is your race. So how can you lose when you're the only one in the race? Okay, you can never lose and you can never fail. And yeah, that's all. So I'm just going to leave it as that. I will see you guys next week. And just make sure you stay strong, make sure you keep going, and make sure you're doing your best every single day, and but still don't stress yourself out. So I'll see you next week. See you guys.